What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we're talking about two altcoins today. We're going to be talking about Cake, obviously, and then we'll be talking about VAI. Cake is at the request of Mr. Artaxerxes. Maybe it's Artaxerxes. I don't know. Artaxerxes. Cake. And then we're going to be talking about VAI for Sultan Alufi, the man himself. All right, let's get this going. Looking at it here, without any further ado, by the way, if you guys would like to hit that like button and subscribe, that is always appreciated. Thank you very much. But we're going to get into the TA right now, from top to bottom, cycle high to cycle low. Here we are right now. Fell just short of the 382. That's so sad, man. I very much would have expected that you would have gone up here. I'm sure I made a video calling for that. We fell just shy, man. Just shy. So sad. It's okay, though. It doesn't mean that this thing's bad. You know, this is quite a ways away. It's a relatively new chart. Fibs aren't always respected on stuff like this, though. I think going forward it probably will. I think we will see respect on certain levels, but it doesn't have to be respected 100% of the time. They're just lines. They're just lines, man. They're not magnets. They're not walls. They're not requirements or prophecies written in a stone tablet. You know, they're just lines. They don't have to be met. They don't have to be respected. But it's nice when we see that they are, because then that implies that traders, algorithms, bots, right? They are corresponding to these fibs. And then also, you know, beyond that too, there's a pretty solid argument to be made that these lines also do play into human psychology, right? And I'll go into just a quick little example of what I mean, right? The average person, not everybody, there are plenty of you that wouldn't do this, but the average person, if you put $100 into something and you saw it drop 50%, right? Or drop, yeah, if you saw it drop 50%, most of you would be like, well, I'm in it now. I'm in it now. There's some of you, there's a good bit of you that would take the loss. You'd be like, I'm out. This is too much. I lost all my money already. Like, I'm out. I don't want any more. But most people would be like, well, I'm in it now. I've already bought here. Like, it's worth half as much. I'm going to ride this thing to zero. That's like the mentality that people have. But that mentality will change. People will sell for an even greater loss. Once it hits, the average person will start to sell once you see 61.8% of a loss. Like, that's the golden ratio. And so it does play into our psychology a little bit. The average person who says here at and that's not a good example because this is up, but at a 50% loss that says I'm going to hold it till it goes to zero, their mentality shifts once you see a 61.8% loss. And not everybody will. Some people will ride it all the way to zero. Some people will have sold before, but the average mentality of the average person, and that's just kind of an example of why fibs are relevant, not just for traders' sake, not just for bots and algorithms' sake, but also like on a psychological level. The Fibonacci sequence is something that's regarded, man. It's like a pattern in the universe, man. It literally is. Seashells, conch shells, trees, man, snowflakes. Type it in on Google. I've done this before, but the spirals in our galaxy respect the 61.8% Fibonacci ratio, and other Fibonacci ratios. You know, it's just a thing. It's a thing. It's not numerology. I guess maybe it is because it involves numbers, but numerology is more like 4 is the number of law. I think 1, 2, 3 means go ahead. I know that. 69 is actually the number for balance. That's that kind of stuff. The Fibonacci is a little bit more, in my opinion, it's more mathematical, not so numerological. But enough about that, man. Let's get into this analysis. I don't like that you fell short of the 382. You're probably going to go below the 236, probably. But for the time being, you are holding it as support, kind of. You might go, if you hold it as support, that'd actually be a really good look. I'm going to get rid of the long-term fib here because I don't. Maybe we'll keep it. I might just like shrink it down a little bit, blow it up a little bit, but shrink it down a little bit. There we go. You are above your 50, and you're below your green line. That's kind of interesting. You've been above it. That's kind of interesting, actually. But I do think that you have lower to go. All that to say, I do think you have lower to go. You were overbought in your weekly RSI. You're not overbought anymore. I think that you're about to see a little bit more of a drop. If you can hold this $2 and what is that? $2.58 zone. If you can hold that, then you look good, man. But I don't think you will. I personally don't think you will. You're not really respecting the fibs right now. I don't know if you're going to start to respect them out of nowhere. Man, I might get rid of the long-term RSI. It's distracting me. I like it. It's helpful, but I feel like for the average person, it just might be too much. This looks a little bit more friendly. Let's see. Bottom to top here. 236 hit. You hit it before, didn't get the positive reaction you were looking for. You're closing at it now, or you're not closing at it because the day's still open, but closing below it would imply that we go to the 382, which is all the way down at 240. You would break that $2.58 with that. So I would expect that you go all the way down to $1.60 to $1.75. Somewhere below the green line would make sense to me. Ideally, with this green line, you know, the prime areas to buy when you're in a convincing uptrend, which I think you are. I think you've begun an uptrend. You've got all the signs there for it. Any time below the green line is generally a good time to buy. Just as, you know, when you're in a downtrend, a very convincing downtrend, any time above the green line is a good time to sell. Above the green line, it's a good time to sell. Above the green line, it's a good time to sell. You know, that's just how it is. What is this green line? What's this magical green line, you might be asking? It's just the 123 moving average, as I was talking about numerology earlier. 123, it's also kind of like, I feel like it has some kind of time significance, if that makes sense. 123 is very close to a third of a year, okay? It also respects, I feel like it respects something on the daily scale. I did all the math before. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to talk too much more about numbers, but it does respect a lot of things in time. Like 123 hours, let me see, 24, 48, 96. Is that 5 days? Would 123? No. 96 plus 24 would be 120. So 5 days would be 120 hours. 123 is pretty close to 5 days, yeah. So whenever you're on the 1 hour, you get like an average of 5 days. You know, it's not exact, but it's close enough on a bunch of different time frames to things that are kind of significant, if that makes any sense. Maybe it only makes sense to me, man. I don't know. But I find significance on it. I find significance on it a lot, man. I think a lot of charts do, even when they don't respect it to a T, which this, you know, looks like it respects it pretty well here, and then at other times it doesn't. There's still a handful of rules that I've found with it that, again, when you're in an established downtrend, generally selling above it is a good idea. You could have sold right here, and it would have been, you know, around the same areas, but maybe it was too presumptuous, right? And you could have gone higher nonetheless. Here, the best time to sell was right above it, right? As you're moving down, the best times to sell were right above it. Now, as we're moving up, we're in a convincing uptrend. The best time to buy might be below it. What else is below it? The 61869 down at around 160 to 175. That's cake. I think it's going down. That's all I got to say on it. So let's move on. 4 hour looks weak. Daily looks like it's starting to show weakness, and the weekly strong, but its run might be over. It looks like it's over. So with that, and it couldn't even hit that 382, man, which is also a sign of weakness in itself. I wonder, did it hit the 5 here? It went a little bit past the 5. Nice. That's not really anything significant, but okay, so that's cake. Let's move on to VAI, USD, KuCoin. Looking at this here, man, is this the best one to use too? I think it is. Yeah, we're not going to use that. We're going to use this. Okay. So, from low, which one's lower? 4611. It would be the green one. Nope, that wasn't right. Right, come on now, there we go. Man, this looks good, guys. This looks pretty good. You are overbought a little bit, right? You're not out of the overbought zone yet. You do look rather top-ish. You just got above your green line, though. You might come back to this like 236, down at around 10 cents. You're sitting at 16 cents now. Maybe you come down there. Find support at a previous area of resistance at the 236, just below the green line. Previous area of resistance here, and then you continue up. I really do like this look, man. Going a little bit below the 382 and then coming up like this above the 236 for sustained weeks, you know, multiple weeks at a time there, that's actually not a bad look at all. That would imply continuation based off of this fib to see an extension. That's not the top. I keep messing it up, man. Let's see. top to bottom. 1272 is at 45 cents. 1618 is at basically 86 cents. If we drew a line right there at the 1618, you can see kind of a previous area of resistance. It's a little bit above it, but right there. The 1272, kind of at the base of that. It would make sense to go there, but first you're probably going to check back a little bit, right? You might check back at the 0.5 or the 382. You could hold this as support at the 618. You could hold 13.28 cents. If you do, then I doubt you go lower, but I really wouldn't be surprised if you did go lower, because you've been overbought for a second now. A lot of crypto's starting to turn down. Not all cryptos have to do the same thing, but you're hugging this 50. You hugged it before, though. Maybe you are just moving sideways and move down. That'd be your other alternative. But for now, I think this is going down, and then afterwards, when crypto starts to get more bullish again, probably a little bit of time, maybe sometime next month or yeah, like a month. I don't know, man. It could be right after the ETF announcement. I think when the Bitcoin ETF gets announced, that either it's approved or denied. If you've been following the channel, I think it's going to get denied. Whatever the cause may be, I think that we are going to see some price dump a little bit, more so if it gets approved actually, and less so if it gets denied. And I think if it gets denied, we'll see that turnaround happen a little bit more quickly. If it gets approved, it might take more time for that turnaround to happen, but I know that might not make sense, that doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but generally speaking, the reason why I would say crypto would go down if the Bitcoin ETFs get approved is because it's the old buy the hype, sell the news event, right? You buy the hype on the ETFs, the news comes out that the ETFs are approved, and then the reality of the news sets in, and it's like far less dramatic or exciting than it actually seems. It is exciting. In the long term, it'll be exciting, but just because the ETFs are approved doesn't mean all the institutional money is going to get in right now. And in anticipation of that, a lot of the smart players sell the news as soon as it comes out. So whether it's approved or denied, I'm sure we'll get some kind of downside turmoil. I do think that it is going to go down, but I would just expect a quicker recovery if the ETFs get denied, which could be good for this. That's why I'm talking about it. And maybe we do see this thing start to move up sometime this month, if not sometime in February. But for now, down. For now, I think both Cake and VAI are going down, and that's really all I got to say. So if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I know I went on a couple little crazy rants there, but guys, I only had 4 requests tonight, so I'm taking my time, I'm enjoying myself, I'm playing around a little bit, and I'm talking a little bit more than I normally would, so at least veering off from the technical analysis more than I normally would, but still got a lot of technical analysis in here. I hope it helps. VAI doesn't seem to be respecting its fibs too much, and that's okay. I still very much do believe that you are on a crash course. Come on now. To 45 cents to 85 cents in the near term. Not the immediate term, but maybe sometime next month or sometime before the halving. I would expect that you are above 45 cents. But maybe not this week, maybe not next week. It could be sometime in February or later, but I think you're on your way up there. I really do. Things look good, man. And again, if you like the video, hit that like button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.